Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and for the last week, I've been driving the 2026 Kia K4 Hatchback GT Line Turbo. Up front is a 1.6-liter inline-4 turbo, and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be making this video here today because I've spent the last week driving the K4 Hatchback, and it is all new for the 2026 model year. For 2025, they debuted the K4, which was a replacement of the Kia Forte. Kia has been trying to sort of simplify their names across regions. Over in Korea, it was always called the K4, so now they're calling the Forte the K4 here. But now for 2026, they have introduced the hatchback. And so today we're going to be taking a look at one of the most practical and affordable new cars you can buy. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 1.6-liter turbo under the hood. Well, that is the upgrade engine for, obviously, the turbo model of the K4. You can also find them with a 2-liter naturally aspirated inline-4, but this Turbo 4 makes 190 horsepower, which I have to say is a pretty healthy number. That's 4 horsepower more than the standard Mazda 3. Now, we'll be drawing a lot of comparisons between the Kia K4 and the Mazda 3. I think they compete in the same space, but also, I personally own a Mazda 3 hatchback, so I've spent over 100,000 miles behind the wheel of that vehicle, so it's a pretty easy comparison for me to draw. And right off the bat, it is just as fun to drive. It's zippy, it's punchy, it's not fast. You know, you're not going to be getting in trouble in this car. You're not going to be setting down record lap times. 0 to 60 is somewhere in the mid-6s, which is nice enough. It's a good enough driving experience where, like, you can pull around someone in traffic and punch it and go, woo, and that's it. It's not much deeper than that. You know, it's not anything mind-boggling, but it's fine enough. For a commuter car, for a normal traffic car, it's on the fun side, but believe me, this is no replacement for the GR Corolla. Now, you might be wondering about engine reliability. As long as you maintain them, you know, do the service intervals when you're supposed to do them, it's fine. One of my best friends is a master tech at a Kia dealer, and I said, have you had these come in with any major issues? He said no. Just typical stuff. A lot of people don't understand turbo cars. So, you know, premium fuel if you can, when you can. Do the service intervals when you're supposed to do it. Don't wait that extra 1,000 miles. Don't wait that extra 8,000 miles. If you skip tons of oil changes in this car, it's going to blow up. Like, that's what's going to happen. But he said by and large, they don't seem to have many huge issues, which is very nice to hear. Like I said, paired to it is an 8-speed automatic. So that's another upgrade that comes with that 1.6 turbo engine is the 8-speed. Because if you don't get that, the base K4 has an IVT, which is essentially Kia's version of a CVT, or continuously variable transmission. CVT has become a bit of a swear word in the auto industry because they're very bland, very basic, and they've had reliability issues. Well, don't worry about that because this has the 8-speed, which is quite lovely. Last but not least about the drivetrain, the K4 is front-wheel drive with no all-wheel drive currently offered. How does it feel to drive the K5? Well, I touched on it earlier. It's zippy, it's fun enough. It has, you know, sort of enthusiast feelings here and there, but it's not this, like, canyon carving automobile. It responds well. It doesn't ride like garbage, which is a huge win. It's tolerant of most things. Visibility is good. It's agile enough. It drives like a little car. That's pretty much it. There's no crazy things that really grab my attention. Wasn't super fast or super slow. Didn't ride super harsh or super soft. It just kind of rides right down the middle, which is what I would want out of a car at this price and of this stature. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. I really like this look. I think it works well. It is customizable as well, so you can cycle through a couple different things, which is always nice to see. One incredible thing that the gauge cluster does is when you turn on your turn signal, it actually turns on side view cameras. This is a part of the upgrade package for the K4 GT, but a lot of Kias offer this. It is so incredibly smart, and I think it's blasphemy that no other manufacturer really offers something quite like this in their lineup. I think it makes lane changes so much safer, easier, and it's just the better way to do things. Please, other manufacturers, take notes. This is so smart and so good, and the K4 hatchback has it. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our adaptive cruise control settings, as well as our selectors for that gauge cluster screen, and off to the right, we have our skip, track, and volume, as well as mode, favorite, and phone options, and we get our drive mode selector in the center of the steering wheel down below. Kind of an interesting placement for it, but we do have normal and sport drive modes. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, we have our gauge dimmer switch, power parking brake, and traction control off. And moving on to the door, we have our heated and ventilated seat options, as well as the heated steering wheel for the driver, and 2 memory seat options. Love to see that here in a $32,000 vehicle. Down below, we have our power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. And moving into the center, off to the left, we have a small touchscreen for the climate controls. I honestly found this really nice. The placement of it really reminds me of like 80s cars. 1980s cars used to have like very small climate controls up sort of in the left center. So remind me of that. They work well, and we'll talk about why in a second. But we have the infotainment off to the right, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. All the fixings that you want here, standard Kia system, nothing too groundbreaking, but we do get a 360 camera, and that is a very, very nice option. That is a part of a over $2,000 tech package here for the K4 hatchback. So if you want it under 30 grand and you could do without that, you could do without the ventilated seats, do without the heated steering wheel, features like that, you can get this vehicle well under 30 by just dropping those options. But this does have the 360 camera, and it's very nice. In the driveway this week, I also have a Volkswagen Atlas, and that at $50,000 still does not get a 360 camera. So it was very nice to hop into this car every other day and actually have a nice 360 camera. Down below that, we get some hotkeys for our home, map, search, volume, power, media, things like that. We have our hazard switch and 2 climate control vents. And then we get our dual zone climate and fan speed. That's why I don't really mind the touchscreen climate controls, because you have temperature and fan speed as physical buttons, and that's all you really need. If you need to change where it's going, sure, you got to use the touchscreen, but the 2 most touched or most used buttons are physical. So you still get that, which is great. Down below, we get 2 USB-Cs, one for the media or charging, and then one just for charging. We also have a 12-volt outlet and a wireless charger. Engine start-stop off to the left, shifter in the center, auto holding brake to the left of that. Parking sensors on and off to the right of that, as well as our parking camera button. And then we have cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test, and these cup holders are really unique. It's shared with a lot of Kia and Hyundai products, but they actually sort of pop out, or you can close it. So if you want a big center console, you want to put a bunch of trinkets in there, you can do that. Or if you want 2 cup holders, you want 1 cup holder, you want no cup holders, you can do all of that here, which is very, very nice and very versatile. And the cherry on top is that when you do pop them out, they do in fact pass the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do get a center console, and the seats, as I mentioned, the driver's seat is memory. Both seats are heated and ventilated, and they are comfortable. To peel back the curtain a little bit, and I swear to God this is a true story, I fell down the stairs this week. I'm not kidding. In my house, going from my kitchen into my basement, I tripped, and I fell all the way down a flight of stairs. And so my back has been pretty bad this week, and the K4 hasn't hurt it anymore. You know, I felt comfortable. I drove this up to Milwaukee from Chicago and back, and on that ride that was post falling down the stairs, I was comfortable the entire time. So that is a very good note. Sometimes economy cars sort of leave the seats for last or don't even really care about them at all, and the K4 seems to care a lot. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, getting in the back of the Kia K4 hatchback. Close it up here. And there you go. It's honestly not a bad place to be. My knees are not hitting the seat in front of me. This is my driving position, so this is a good tell that I could fit behind myself, which is not easy to do as it is, but especially in an economy car. And head's not hitting the ceiling. So I'm 5'11", not a small guy. I fit back here very comfortably. this has a huge leg up on the Mazda 3 in terms of rear seat space. The Honda Civic is on like a similar level, way better than the Corolla's back seats, so definitely upper class in terms of rear seat space. We also get climate vents back here. We get 2 USB-C chargers and a little cubby. And coming over here, we do have fold-out cup holders, and of course, the nice seat material carries on back here. Overall, I'm really happy with the back of the K4. I think it's super practical. I, as a big guy, fit back here, and it's not easily said for vehicles at this price point. However, what you're probably itching to see is the rear hatch, because that is all new for this year, so let's take a look at the cargo space. All right, let's talk about it. So it was hard for me at the beginning to find where the button is. It's under the stick of the end, the very last part of the badge. That's where the button is. It is not a power-operated tailgate. But once we are back here, it's a little messy, we do have lots and lots of space. So we can pull this up as well. We do get a spare tire, which is very nice. Speaker, privacy cover, things like that. I don't see a 12-volt outlet. Would have liked to have seen that. But in this caliber of car, not many hatchbacks have rear outlets. A lot more SUVs do. But this is great. I do want to share a few shots that I got over my week with it. My parents gave me a 55-inch TV that they weren't using, slid that right into the back, and it fit perfectly. So if you are moving a 55-inch TV or want to buy one, it does fit in the back of the K4. Similarly, we also had a party at my house this week, and so we had to go get groceries, and that is how they all stacked up in the back of the K4. So some real-world testing here in the K4 hatchback. Love to see that, and there you go. I'm just so happy that this exists at all. Very, very cool. Grab handle up here, throw it back down, nice, light, and easy, and that is the hatch of the K4. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and obviously, the first thing you'll notice is the color. This is finished in Star Bright Yellow. I don't think it's a very attractive color. It's a very loud color, it's a very noticeable color, it's a very striking color. Is it the color that I would want? Not really, especially as someone who has had kidney stones in the past. The color kind of reminds me of that whole ordeal, if you hear what I'm saying. It's fine. If you've ever wondered how it differs from Chevy's Trailblazer Yellow, here it is. I parked next to one at a Jewel Osco, and yeah, that's the color difference between what Kia offers and what Chevy offers. Both are terrible colors, but noticeable ones, I guess. I think the hatchback looks really good. I really do like the rear end of this, and I think it fixes the issues of the sedan. I think the sedan is a little gangly in the back, a little ugly, a little, you know, only a mother could love rear end. I think the hatchback really fixes that. I think it's handsome. I think it looks good. I just probably would not get it in this color. I'd try to find like a blue or red or almost any other color, if I'm honest. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Kia K4 hatchback for the last week? Well, this was one of my most anticipated vehicles of the year. It's new and it's a hatchback. We do not get a whole lot of hatchbacks here in the United States anymore. They're just not that fashionable. Not as many people want them as they do in Europe and Asia. I think the American thinking is, why would I buy a hatchback when I could buy a 4-year-old Tahoe and drive over anything ever made ever? But I'm happy that Kia is doing this. I'm so incredibly thrilled that Kia has brought a new hatchback to market. And as we talked about with the trunk space, it's incredibly practical, it's decent enough to drive, it has good tech, it's handsome, and it's around $30,000. This particular one is 32 something whatever, I forgot the exact number, but 32, 33. You could find these for under 30, and that is not an easy thing to do in 2026. And I think this car really teaches me, or reminds me, to worry about what this actually is, as opposed to what it could be. I put out a community post when I got this car last week and said, what do you want to know? And a lot of people wanted it compared to the Mazda 3. I think this is very much on par with the Mazda 3. This has ventilated seats, which the Mazda 3 does not get at any trim level. It's pretty fun to drive, gets similar fuel economy. It's really going to be personal preference. But the number one thing that people said on that community post was, oh, if it had a 2-liter turbo, I'd buy it. Oh, if it had a manual transmission, I'd buy it. Oh, if it had this, I would buy it, or that, or finding different ways to sort of write off this car. And I think that does this car a big disservice. If you look at it for what it is, an economy hatchback that happens to be fun, that happens to look decent, that happens to have good tech, it's actually a really, really good car for the money. You get a lot for your money. For just around 30, again, 32, you get ventilated seats, 360 camera, decent sound system. It is Harman Kardon for the sound system. Good cargo space. You could fit that 55-inch TV. You could fit all the groceries for a party. It has all of the capabilities of a hatchback, and it's not going to completely break the bank. And so, yes, I could sit here and make a video saying, oh, why don't they throw the Elantra N's drivetrain into this and make this turbocharged, rally-inspired monster. But my channel isn't based off of what ifs. My channel isn't based off of what could be. My channel is reviewing cars that exist, cars that are here in front of us, enjoying the present moment as opposed to hoping for the future. Do I hope that they do a crazy rally-inspired manual hatchback? Of course. But for now, they're making this. And it's a really, really good car. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Kia for letting me borrow their K4 hatchback for the last week. Huge thank you to G. Schmitz for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, the Midwest Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.